Hi, I'm Nate Wakeford. I'm your masculinity and mindset coach. Today I'm going to be talking about the subtle ways and the subtle energies that will either make your woman wet or make her dry. There is an art of magnetism that a man can really express himself in ways which turn women on. And so much of it is subcommunicated in very subtle expressions, where immediately a woman knows if you're speaking from a place of authenticity, of knowing, of confidence, or if you're faking it. Women have an amazing ear and eye for this, and they know it immediately as they feel it inside their body. Things that will turn your woman on is when you have a strong identity, you have a strong sense of self. When she can test you and you're unwavering, meaning you know who you are, you know where you're going, and you're directive, you're a dominant energy in your own reality, and you can invite her into that. And in doing so, you're able to hold tension. You know, you're confident in who you are and where you're going. You don't fear loss. You won't tolerate her disrespect or any attempts to manipulate you because you're clear on where you're going, what you stand for. From the dominant, assertive position of you leading your own reality, you will begin to express that in ways that she will immediately tell that you're a man who knows his value. A man who will begin to lose magnetism and attraction from a woman and make it less wet ultimately is a man who is not confident, he's not self-assured, who tries to compensate in some way to get her attention. He will subtly communicate that he doesn't have other priorities in life because he will go out of his way to try and win favor from her. He will try to compensate in some way to gain her approval or acceptance. The moment that you do that as a man, the woman knows that she is being pursued and you are seeking from her and not the other way around. High quality women get approached all the time. It's a rare man when the two meet that this man has his own path and purpose and will not go out of his way to try and gain her attention. He knows he's the prize deep down because he's worked on himself extensively. He's a man who has built himself into a man of value, and anyone who knows a high value man knows that that is an incredible endeavor to embark upon. You mean you're developing yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and this typically takes a long time to be a protector, provider, leader, and someone who is able to serve in powerful ways. So to become a high value man, you earn this status. And that's why it's integrated, it's true inside of you. A man who has not earned it, by default, will try to compensate in some ways. He might lie, he might try to validate through, telling stories about himself that make him appear grander than what he is. But ultimately, things like his posture will give him away. His gestures, whether he's leaning in too much, whether he's trying to get her attention, whether he's messaging continuously to try and get a woman's attention as she pulls away. If a woman's pulling away, she's sending you a signal to say, hey, I'm not leaning in towards you, therefore I'm not magnetized towards you, therefore I'm not really turned on by you. And a big part of this is polarity. When a man is in his masculine polarity, he feels his penetrative energy. He's connected to his sexual energy. He's connected to his masculine penetrative energy. And that creates a natural polarity with the feminine. Now, often when a man's in grounded presence, he's a lot more still. When a man is in his head and highly emotional, he's typically not going to be connected to his penetrative energy, and he's not going to create the natural polarity of the feminine in reflection. So there's energetic practices that you can do to begin to cultivate that energy inside. You can also become a more dominant man physically by going to the gym, by building yourself up in your muscularity. And once you do so, you'll start to have a more dominant presence, and women can feel that also. So through your actions, through your posture, through the way that you speak, through the subtleties, the way that you have demonstrate your internal authority, internal frame of reference, you will begin to have a greater magnetism in general. You'll start to get more feminine attention. The more feminine attention you get, the more you'll filter what type of feminine attention is good and what's a distraction to you living in your fullest capacity, in your highest trajectory in life. And so that default of being pre-qualified by having a lot of women attracted to you, that default of you qualifying women to see that if they are aligned with you and your path and your purpose, immediately communicates that you have a higher value compared to the average man, and therefore you are more attractive, more desirable, and the more women that ultimately that desire you, the more your level of value to the opposite sex becomes apparent. And so other women will see how comfortable and how at ease you are in your communication. And women are social creatures. They're going to observe you, especially high value women, over a period of time. They're going to see if you're consistent in your behaviors, and she's going to know. She's going to see other cues, the way you dress, whether you take care of yourself, in your bodily hygiene, in your grooming. They're all factors which go to say that you're a high value man who takes pride in himself. Those things will definitely add towards making your woman attracted to you, and little things like being able to break rapport and to tease, things like that. A high value man isn't seeking to please his woman continuously. He's doing his own thing and he'll tease her knowing that he's a high value man. A low value man will constantly try to be in acceptance. He won't like the idea that even for a second, she might be disapproving of him in some capacity. And if he feels a break in connection, he'll immediately try to recover it. A man of value doesn't care because he has options, or even if he cares a little bit, he won't telegraph that he is easily swayed by a woman's actions. He's congruent with his own path and purpose. That is tremendously attractive towards the feminine. If you have other questions, then comment below. I'll do my best to respond to them. I also encourage you to join the Sovereign Brotherhood community. In there, you'll find a bunch of resources that will help you in developing your masculine frame and attracting women into your life. Subscribe, share this with your friends if you found it valuable, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.